He squeezed my hand under the table during grace, thumb brushing my knuckles the way he always did when my parents were watching, and told my dad how excited he was to officially join the family soon. Everyone raised their glasses to us. I smiled on cue. 10 minutes earlier, in the hallway bathroom with the fan running to cover the sound, I'd opened his Instagram on my phone, his account still logged in from when he borrowed it that morning, and read the messages he'd been trading with a woman named Kelsey for the past 5 months. The latest one, sent while we were driving here, read, "Can't wait to feel you again once this dinner nightmare is over. My name is Lila. I'm 30, a high school English teacher in Raleigh, North Carolina. Ethan and I have been together 7 years, engaged for 8 months. We met teaching summer school. He coached soccer, I ran the drama club, and we bonded over terrible cafeteria coffee and shared playlists. We moved into a small brick house in Oakwood, planted hydrangeas along the fence, and turned the spare room into an office we both used. My parents adored him, called him the son they never had. He fit right in at every holiday, knew how my mom liked her martinis, could talk college basketball with my dad for hours. We were the couple people cited when they said relationships could still work. The shift started small. He began coaching a travel team that practiced 3 evenings a week and played tournaments most weekends. He'd come home late, shower immediately, and fall asleep facing away from me. I'd ask how the games went and he'd give short answers, then change the subject to wedding vendors or honeymoon options. Intimacy became something we scheduled around exhaustion. When I mentioned feeling disconnected, he'd pull me close and promise things would settle once the season ended. I believed him because doubting him felt like doubting us. That Christmas Eve we were at my parents' house for the traditional prime rib dinner. 22 people around the extended dining table, candles flickering, my aunt's playlist of old jazz in the background. Ethan was in full charm mode, helping my mom carry platters, refilling wine glasses, telling the story of how he proposed on the Neuse River Trail for the 100th time. Everyone laughed in all the right places. He'd left his phone charging in the guest room that afternoon. I only went in to grab the extra chairs my dad asked for. His Instagram was open on the lock screen because he'd used Face ID and forgotten to close it. A red notification bubble sat over the messages icon. Curiosity won over respect in 3 seconds flat. I locked the bathroom door, turned on the fan, and opened the thread with Kelsey. It started innocently enough, comments on each other's stories, inside jokes about players' parents. Then it turned personal. Late-night messages about how trapped he felt. Her replies offering escape. Photos of them in his car, in hotel rooms after away games. Her head on his shoulder in one that was time-stamped the weekend he told me he had food poisoning and couldn't make my cousin's baby shower. The affection in their words was effortless, the kind we used to have. The most recent exchange was from that afternoon. Her. Rough day with the in-laws yet? Him. Smiling and nodding on autopilot. Miss your mouth. Her same. Can't wait to feel you again once this dinner nightmare is over. Him. Counting the hours. I stood there until someone knocked asking if I was okay. I splashed water on my face, fixed my lipstick, and walked back to the table like nothing had happened. During grace he reached for my hand. His palm was warm, steady. He squeezed twice, our old signal for I love you. I squeezed back once, our signal for I love you too, because my parents were watching and because some habits die harder than trust. After dessert, while the men smoked cigars on the porch and the women started coffee, I found him in the hallway putting on his coat to take the dog out. I saw the messages, I said quietly. He froze, hand on the doorknob. How long? I asked. He turned. His face wasn't panic, just pale. 5 months. 5 months, I repeated. You've been sleeping with her for 5 months and tonight you toasted to joining my family. He glanced toward the living room where laughter floated in. I didn't know how to end it with her. And I didn't want to lose you. Lose me, I said. You've already lost me. You just hadn't noticed. He started to speak. I shook my head. Not here. Not tonight. My parents don't deserve this on Christmas Eve. We made it through gifts and goodbyes. He carried the leftovers to the car, hugged my mom, told my dad he'd see him for the bowl game next week. I smiled until my cheeks hurt. We drove home in silence. As soon as the front door closed behind us, I said, pack enough for a few days. Stay at your brother's or a hotel. I'll let you know when you can come get the rest. He didn't argue. He packed a duffel while I sat on the porch steps in the cold. When he left, he paused on the walkway. "I do love you, Lila. I believe you love parts of this life," I said. "But you don't love me enough to choose only me. And that's the part one can't live with." He nodded and drove away. The days after Christmas were quiet and sharp. I told my parents the engagement was off, kept the details vague, let them assume cold feet. Friends checked in. I took down the wedding vision board we'd pinned above the desk. I slept in the middle of the bed for the first time in years. Ethan moved into an apartment near the school where he teaches. He tried to explain in long texts I stopped reading. Kelsey ended things when the secrecy disappeared. Last I heard, he's dating casually and coaching again next season. 8 months later, I'm still in the Oakwood house. I turned the spare room into a library, adopted a cat who sleeps on my lap while I grade essays, started hiking with a group of teachers on weekends. I'm seeing someone new slowly, carefully, who doesn't keep separate message threads. If the person you love holds your hand while planning an escape in their head, pay attention to the temperature of their grip. Love isn't just presence, it's intention. You deserve someone whose future plans include you in every draft, not just the version they show your family. I learned that under candlelight on Christmas Eve. And even though it cost me the wedding I thought I wanted, it gave me back the rest of my life.